Good morning team, welcome back to another video. We are going into some lactate threshold training for Hyrox. So we've got a decent sized workout to go through today, but the intention is to ride the line on that lactate threshold and help prepare us for our next race. So I'm going to talk you through the workout and what exactly I mean by lactate threshold and that kind of training so that you can bring it into yours and you can implement it in your next prep. So without going through all the testing, getting your lactate threshold tested properly with blood lactate tests and all of that stuff, how do we know where lactate threshold is? Roughly speaking, it should be like an 8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. It should be hard to achieve, but achievable, if that makes sense. If you're ending these sessions and you feel like you had more to give, then it wasn't hard enough. But if you're ending these sessions on the floor completely dead, like you can do no more, you probably gave a little bit too much. And that's why these sessions are interesting, because you really have to ride that line and see where your limits are and just sit a little bit lower than them. All right, so session today, we've got two 15-minute EMOMs, where basically in each minute, we're gonna work for 40 seconds, rest 20 seconds before moving to the first one. So we've got ski, farmer's carry, line facing burpees, and then the second one, C2 bike, wall balls, and shuttle run. So comfortably hard efforts for that 40 seconds, 20 seconds to transition, get to the next one, and move through. So it's gonna be fairly constant throughout the whole, 30 minutes total. So when it comes to building these kind of pieces, especially for what we're trying to achieve, roughly we wanna work with a work to rest period of 5-1. So we've got a 15-minute work period to start with, and we're gonna rest for 3. So for every 5 minutes we accumulated, we're having 1 minute of rest before we go into the second 15-minute EMOM. So if you're designing a piece, that's the kind of work-rest ratio that you should be aiming to accomplish. Okay, that is halfway. So first 15-minute EMOM done. Got about 90 seconds left, and then we're going to the second one. C2, wall balls and shuttle run. So this one's gonna be pretty leggy. First one was okay. Burpees sucked as always. Ski trying to hold the same pace throughout, so I had a target in mind. And I'm gonna do the same again on the C2. I have a target in mind and aim to hold that throughout each interval. So yeah, let's get into the second interval. I'm finished. 30 minutes of work with a little bit of rest, in and out. Second round was definitely harder than the first, but it was a lot more legs. So like going from the C2 into the wall balls, like I could just feel my legs getting heavier with each round, but that's exactly what it's designed for. They're gonna feel heavy when you come to the end of a Hyrox and you've done everything else and you've just got wall balls. So that was the stimulus we wanted to get with that wall ball coming off the C2. Okay then, looking at heart rates, spent a little bit too much time in zone 3. That could have been the rest period as well, but I would have liked to have spent a little bit more time in zone 4 on that piece, just to give it the stimulus that I wanted. So going into another session like that, probably start a little bit faster rather than easing my way into it. But if we're looking at heart rate and you're trying to measure your kind of lactate training, anywhere in that zone 4, bottom of zone 5, that's roughly the kind of heart rate that you want to aim for. So next time I do a piece like that, start faster and get into that zone 4 a little bit quicker.
Okay, then time to head back. Much shorter video today, but just wanted to go through that cannot speak. Lactate threshold and how you can implement it. You can use that template and you can sub in different movements that you might be working on within that Hyrox kind of framework. But it's a good way of getting good volume in, getting good volume at the right intensity, and just helping to build up that engine so that you can perform a little bit better when you come to race day. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.